Expressionism by Sophia Hassan. Expressionism was an art movement in Europe that happened in the late 19th century and early 20th century. It is a movement in the arts in which the artist does not express reality, but rather express an inner experience. It is considered a reaction from Impressionism art, which captures scenes and moments, while Expressionism expresses the painter's feelings towards the world and themselves. Expressionism can basically be defined by its use of bright colors, bold strokes of paint, dark lines, high contrast imagery, which displayed the inner nature of a person or an object. Expressionism began in various cities across Germany as a response to lost feelings of authenticity and spirituality. German Expressionism was divided into two groups. Die Bruch, their aim was to overthrow the conservative tradition of German art, and Die Blue-Ritter, which was to find a common creative ground between these diverse art forms. Edvard Munch was a Norwegian-born expressionist artist. He played a great role in German Expressionism, and his work were really popular in the Expressionist movement. Edvard Munch had extremely powerful paintings. The death of many of his family members became a muse for him. He had so many feelings of passion, anguish, stress, sorrow, and pain in his paintings that people claim that his images were terrifying and threatening, but they simply did not understand. The way that he expressed himself through his artwork was amazing. Max Beckmann was a German expressionist artist. His style and technique began to change and transition into Expressionism after he became a corpsman volunteer in the military during the Great War. He began to depict the pain and violence of the war. One painting in particular, The Small Operation, made in 1915, was powerful in expressing the pain of the war. Francis Bacon is an Irish-born expressionist artist. His work, which became popular in the 1940s, is characterized by semi-abstracted figures and his choice of disturbing themes. His figurative work is renowned for its boldness and balance. Isolated, abstract figures frequently appear in Francis Bacon's painting. Most of his paintings depict the human figure in the scenes that suggest alienation, violence, and suffering. Bacon's provocative, expressive work is considered some of the most important art of the post-war era. Van Gogh was a Dutch expressionist artist. He used color to express his feeling about a subject rather than to simply describe it. His heightened vision helped to liberate color as an emotional instrument in his artwork. In a letter to his brother, Van Gogh said, "Instead of trying to reproduce exactly what I see before my eyes, I use color more arbitrarily to express myself forcibly." His brushwork became a key influence in the development of expressionist painting technique. Otto Dix is one of the greatest German expressionist artists. He was a veteran of World War I and was haunted by his experiences there. His first great subjects were crippled soldiers and anything to do with the war, but during the height of his career, he also painted nudes and prostitutes. George Grosz was a German expressionist painter. He was one of a number of young angry painters who exploded onto the art scene after World War I. In 1930, Grosz's amazing art was declared Entartre Kunst by the Nazis, which meant it was degenerate art. Hitler and his henchmen revoked Grosz's German citizenship in 1938. Kirchner was a German expressionist artist. Kirchner's expressionistic painting represented a powerful reaction against the Impressionism art movement. He was motivated by the same anxiety that gripped the movement as a whole, fears about humanity's and lost feelings of spirituality and authenticity. Emily Knoll was a German-Danish expressionist artist. He added special mystical dimension to German Expressionism. His career illustrates a number of moral dilemmas which faced German modernists of the first generation. His art was regarded as experimental. He is known for vigorous brushwork and expressive choice of colors. Wassily Kandinsky was a Russian-born expressionist artist. Kandinsky believed that colors, shapes, and forms had an equivalence with sounds and music and sought to create color harmonies which would be purifying to the soul. He had decided that creating paintings on the representational world was no longer necessary. He felt that society was paving the way for a new, more spiritual age. Kandinsky was one of the first artists to create completely non-representational paintings. Smack was a German expressionist artist. He lived during a particularly innovative time for German art, which saw the development of the main German expressionist movement as well as the arrival of successive avant-garde movements which were forming like the rest of Europe. Like a true artist of his time, Mack knew how to integrate into his painting the elements of avant-garde which most interested him. Paul Klee was a Swiss expressionist artist. He expressed the most diverse subject drawn from his imagination. Klee had worked in a relative isolation, experimenting with various styles and media, such as making caricatures, drawing. His work was influenced by Cubism of Pablo Picasso and Georges Braque. Franz Marc is a German expressionist artist. Marc is best known for his paintings of animals, particularly horses and deer, in which he attempted to express his mystical outlook on nature. In works, he used styles, lines, and curves and brilliant, unrealistic color to create and heighten the sense of nature idealized. He was killed in action during World War I. Lastly, Oskar Kokoschka was an Austrian expressionist artist, poet, and playwright. He was best known for his intense expressionistic portraits and landscape. He was a seminal pioneer of expressionism. His early portraits reflect the intention of turning the sitter's state of mind inside out. Expressionism was a big movement in Europe, not only in art, but also in literature, music, and playwriting.